Hi guys, hope you're doing well. So I thought today we'll talk about some of the expenses you can anticipate to incur when you come into Canada as an international student. Now, your tuition is definitely going to be your biggest expense. The average cost of tuition for, say, an engineering program in Fredericton, New Brunswick is around $10,000 a semester, and you can expect to complete that program with a minimum of 8 semesters. So that aside, the next biggest expense that you're going to incur is your rent. Your rental expense every month is going to be around $900 to $1,200, depending on what kind of rental accommodation you're taking up. So for a 1 bedroom apartment, you can expect somewhere around $900, plus utilities. A 2 bedroom apartment, slightly more than that. So that's how I came up with the range of $900 to $1,200 within the city limits, really close to campus. And you're going to have to pay utilities on top of that. So for utilities, the biggest expense you're going to have is your heat and electricity, especially heat, especially in the winter months, because Canada has a long winter and you can, where it's really cold, I'd say about 5 months out of the year, where you'd have to crank up your heat. And you can expect to pay somewhere around $300 to $400 for your heat bill. Now, if you're staying by yourself, you have to incur all that cost yourself, but you do have the opportunity to split the cost if you do find a roommate. If you move to a 2 bedroom apartment and find a roommate, you can split the cost evenly. Or a more affordable option would be to rent a single room within a house. So that's very common here. A house might have like 5 or 6 bedrooms, and you'd still have your own space because you'll have that whole room to yourself, but you might have to share the kitchen and the washroom and other living space with the tenants living there. Now that's a more affordable option because you can get a place between like $400 to $600 plus utilities right now in 22. And what else? The other utility bill that you can think that I can think of that you might have to incur an expense on would be the internet bill, and that's somewhere around $80 to $100. That should give you enough gigs. It's unlimited data usually and fiber optic speeds, so nothing to worry about there. And your phone bills. Now, if you bring your own phone, you can get a better deal on a plan. So somewhere it starts off at $25, I believe, $25 to $30 for unlimited minutes within Canada and for a few gigs of data. And that's usually pretty good for student because you have Wi-Fi connections everywhere. And I don't think you'll need more than that. When it comes to transportation, in Fredericton, New Brunswick, I know we have public transit systems. We have buses that run. They don't run very frequently, maybe once every half hour during the peak times, and then once every hour when it's not peak time. So peak times would be like between 7 and 9 a.m. and then again 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. around so. You also have access to cabs, but cabs are slightly more expensive. For buses, you can expect to pay somewhere around $80 a month, and you might have some discounts as a student that you can take advantage of. Versus if you are going to cab, a cab can get quite pricey actually. It's like at least $10, I would say $10 from one point to another, depending on where in the city. You can expect to spend around $10 to $20 for a ride. Yes, and what else? So groceries now depends very much on your dietary restrictions, but you can anticipate to spend around $300 to $400 if you as a student, and if you're not sharing with anyone else. That's $300 to $400 per person. A few other expenses that you might want to keep in mind would be like textbooks. When you're coming in as a new student, you might be asked to, depending on the number of courses that you're taking, each course might have a textbook that you need to buy. And depending on your program, you might also have other expenses related to that, like for lab equipments and things like that. So yeah, those are the few tips I had today. Let me know if you have any questions. Just comment below, and I will try to answer your questions as soon as I can. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.